All right, how y'all guys doing? It's the Baltimore night, and I just wanted to talk about some of the All right, yeah, let me look into the camera. Some of the arguments that I've been looking into as far as um why Jews don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God, and that He's the Messiah, and the reason why I've been doing this is because you want to have you want to be solid in your faith. You know that you can believe something, but you don't want to just believe it. I mean, because I know that it's true, my beliefs and everything, but when people sit there and ask you why and question you, that you can have some type of argument to present to them so that, you know, and praying to God that He gives you the word to say that you can go ahead and tell them about that. Now, the question, I was looking into it and I came across this thing on online where a rabbi was saying he had gotten a question from, I guess, a fellow Jew, and the question was, um, if Jews don't believe that Jesus, is the Messiah and everything, if they don't believe in Jesus, not saying that they don't believe that He existed, but they don't believe that He's the Messiah and everything, then how do they explain the resurrection? Because Christianity is founded off of Christ raised from the dead to conquer all of sin. And so, the rabbi, he said that pretty much, like, I mean, that's true. Like, pretty much the Christian faith is founded off of, like how Paul said, without the resurrection, there is no faith, there's no hope. We all just perish in hell. Because according to the law, that's what it says. So, besides the animal sacrifices and everything, but that's a whole nother subject and everything, because that's only temporary for that time. But with Christianity, we believe in that there was the full and complete sacrifice to Jesus Christ. But back to it. So he started talking about the resurrection. Um, Now he said, well, during those times, during the Roman Empire, and even throughout the history of the world, excuse me, that faiths, different types of religions, have always had a deity or a demigod, basically a man god that was born from a virgin and came here in the world and did wonderful, marvelous things, and then died, but came back to life. So he was saying that basically by using those other different religions and everything, he was just saying, the Christianity's view of this revolution of this resurrection is not a revolutionary view. It's not a new view. It's not a different view. Basically, he was trying to hint at that Christianity just stole these views from other faiths. Um, he also pointed out discrepancy, well, not discrepancy, but differences between the four synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He pointed out differences as far as to when Jesus was arrested and or when he was crucified, because you had the 3 days, and um, all of the gospels besides I think John, I believe, or all of them besides one, said that he was he was crucified on Passover on the Passover feast. But well, basically, it's a Jewish month of Nisan or Nisan. I'm not sure the pronunciation is probably Nisan on the 15th day. But one of the gospel says that it was Passover Eve, on the eve of Passover, which would be the 14th day of the month of Nisan. Now, differences, I guess, that being one. But when you look at the day, I guess you got to kind of look. You can't just say, oh, well, because they got different days, you can't believe in Christ and you can't have faith. I would say that talking to Westerners, a day is from 12 noon to 12 noon. Maybe it was like that in the ancient world too. I don't know. I had to do more research, and you have to look at who their audiences were. Like when you talk to Jews, especially in those ancient times, a day was from sunset to sunset is one day. So tonight, when the sun sets, that's the new day. So what time exactly was the Last Supper or the crucifixion done or the rest? Um, could it have been when the sun set? Maybe it was. You know. Whereas most of the writers probably would have just put it to because if you look at it, really only one of the Gospels is specifically targeted towards the Jews. Sorry, I have a bad call, but that's Matthew. But I guess it depends on who they were trying to write to. So I mean, that can kind of be explained away with that. I don't know, but there's different accounts. But you gotta remember, all right. He tried to use that as a reason because there are different accounts, or there's like minor differences in accounts. Okay, let's look at the Old Testament. All right, in the Old Testament, there's only one account of the happenings of Genesis. There's only one account of the acts that happened in Exodus. There's not three different accounts of the Book of Numbers. There's not four accounts of the Book of Judges. There's only one account of each book, of each event, of each history that happened. So any time and you can get four preachers together and tell them, okay, or you can get four rabbis together and tell them, I want you to write everything that happened in Exodus. Go. And when they put the last period on that page and you read them, I'm pretty sure that each and every one of them are not going to write the same thing word for word unless they committed that to memory. They're not going to write the same thing word for word. You're probably going to have maybe some type of a discrepancy. Not a discrepancy, but a difference. I'm sorry, I keep saying discrepancy, but a difference. Is that to say that, oh, these rabbis don't have divine wisdom and all that? They don't. They're not preaching from God. Is that to say that? No, because you have four accounts written by four people, approximately 40 years later. Now, if you look at the four Gospels, they're very, very, very similar. Some of them you would think that it's like you would ask, why are there four different books of the same story? But so they're very, very similar. So you can point out the little minor little differences in accounts that happen, but they're overwhelmingly similar. And for this to happen 40 years after the fact, I mean, that in itself is pretty much like a miracle. For four different people to pretty much write exactly the same thing with minor little details. He was going on like, oh, there's infinite amounts of, there's overwhelming differences. I mean, really, come on now. You can look in it and read it yourself, and you'll see that they're overwhelmingly similar accounts. You might have minor details, but that's just people. It's the divine word that happened that they saw, and then they wrote it down, and you have those four accounts. So I don't see that as a reason to discredit 500 witnesses, people risking their lives, dying, getting hung on crosses, getting killed all over the world because they went out and spread the word over a fake made up story. I don't think so. All right, give me your thoughts.